Hey there, teacher friend. Before we jump in, we want to invite you to something we know you're going to love.
The second annual Teacher Summer Talks is our free summer audio summit for teachers, and it's happening June 23rd through the 26th. This is your shortcut to feeling prepared and confident for back to school without giving up your summer to do it.
We've gathered over 35 amazing teachers to share quick, practical tips that you can actually use so you walk into next year feeling calm, clear, and totally classroom ready. And the best part, it's all audio. No Zoom links, no screens, just pop in your earbuds and hit play from the pool, the car, or wherever summer takes you.
So if you're ready to get your teaching game plan together with just the right amount of fresh start energy, we would love for you to join us. Grab your free ticket at secondstorywindow.net/summit. We can't wait to see you there. This is episode 200 of Teacher Approved. You're listening to Teacher Approved, the podcast helping educators elevate what matters and simplify the rest. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Emily. We're the creators behind Second Story Window, where we give research-based and teacher-approved strategies that make teaching less stressful and more effective. You can check out the show notes and resources from each episode at secondstorywindow.net.
We're so glad you're tuning in today. Let's get to the show.
Hey there, thanks for joining us today. Normally on Thursdays in the summer, we revisit one of our teacher-approved can't miss classic episodes. But since today is a milestone celebration for our podcast, we wanted to do something different.
We went back through all 200 episodes and pulled out 5 of our favorite teacher-approved tips that we wanted to revisit.
Now, I'm probably biased, but I feel like we've shared some pretty great takeaways in the last 200 episodes. So when it came time to choose just 5, we picked the ones we felt were most impactful for our own well-being as teachers.
Yeah, it's great to have links to digital timers and to have tips for photographing class parties. But since we were only limited to 5, we made sure to choose the tips that we absolutely could not live without. If we were dropped back into the classroom tomorrow, these are the things that we would be using on day 1.
So let's start with one of our favorite tips and original tips from the podcast, which is secret scrap. The fact that we shared this all the way back in episode 5 should tell you how much we love this idea. So let's travel back in time and hear that tip here.
Oh, the secret scrap is magical. So I would save it for days when the classroom floor needed a little TLC, usually like if we've had an art project or we've been too busy to really kind of clean it up. And so I would pick some kind of obscure piece of litter on the floor, tell the kids there's a secret scrap, and whoever finds it gets a reward. And so I give them all like a few minutes, and they're all, of course, looking at where my eyes are looking to see if they can suss out what I'm watching.
And you can use that to your advantage.
Absolutely. And then I'll be like, okay, no one got it. Everyone go throw away whatever you're holding and go back out. Or, have them show me the junk in their hands.
I never did it that way.
And they're like, oh, Tyler got the red scrap of paper, whatever it was. And I would honestly, okay, teacher confessions. I would often not pick a scrap. I would just wait till the floor was mostly clean and then choose a kid that maybe needed a little extra love that day, needed a win. And whatever that kid picked up, I'd be like, oh, he got it. And now he gets the sticker or the little junky prize out of the treasure box. But it worked so good. The kids loved it and my floor got clean.
Yes, exactly. All of that.
And Emily, you did it differently.
I mean, I did it pretty much the same. The only difference would be I did not have them come show me the trash. And I didn't tell them immediately when it had been picked up. I told them that I was so sneaky that I could watch and see when it was picked up and who picked it up without. Although honestly, a lot of times, again, I had not actually picked a scrap. And so I just picked someone who needed to have the win that day or who had worked really hard at cleaning and let them be the winner for the day. But either way, however you do this, you get a clean floor at the end, and that's what matters.
That's what matters most.
And I will stand by that. The secret scrap is magic.
If you haven't used it to get your floor clean quickly, you are missing out.
Definitely tuck that one away for the school year. And let's revisit another favorite tip. This is from episode 50. That episode is the final episode in our 3-part series on transitions.
It is a ridiculous amount of work to get a group of kids to wrap up one activity, shift spaces, and then get set up for the next activity. It's so easy to lose a lot of your teaching time to chaotic transitions. One way to minimize that wasted time is to give students something to do as soon as they complete the transition.
We call this bookending a transition. So when students come in from specialty classes, they know exactly what to get started on. They're not waiting on you to round them up and get them focused before you can start the lesson.
And bookends are so important for any transition. They work great if students will be at their desks, but what can you do if they are transitioning to a space like the rug where they're not going to have a book or a pencil to get started with? And that's where a bookend basket comes into play. So let's revisit that tip from episode 50. So when I would have my students transition to the rug, they didn't have any materials with them usually. So it was tricky to know how to bookend that transition. And because I could only play the quiet game so many times, I had a literal basket of tricks that I would keep at my chair back at the rug. So I had, the lyrics of songs we could sing or poems to practice, a deck of those like second grade trivia questions.
Oh yeah, those brain quest ones. I had those too.
Yep, I think I may have gotten them from you. A joke book to read from, just lots of little things to keep kids engaged while everyone got settled at the rug. If you have a place or a time of day where the transition is a little sticky, maybe because the students just end up sitting there waiting for you to start, consider keeping some activities handy to keep that transition time from becoming wasted time.
Those Brain Quest trivia books, I kept them on a shelf right next to my door, and I would do it while we were lining up for lunch.
Oh,
so
smart.
Since some of the kids were getting there and standing there waiting for everyone else to finish washing their hands, I would do the trivia while we were waiting.
Very smart.
And our no technology brain break cards are perfect for your basket. You can print them, stick them on a ring, and keep them handy to bookend any prompted transitions. And we'll link to those in the show notes. I used items from my bookend basket several times a day. Anytime the kids transitioned to the carpet, I pulled something from the basket to keep them focused. If you don't get kids immediately engaged, you'll waste a ton of time and energy trying to reclaim their focus.
Yes, we promise your day will run so much more smoothly if you don't have the work of trying to get 25 wiggly children back on track. Ready to feel calm, confident, and classroom ready for fall? Join us for the second annual Teacher Summer Talks, a free audio summit packed with practical tips from over 35 real teachers. No screens, no stress, just smart ideas that you can listen to anywhere. Grab your free ticket at secondstorywindow.net/summit.
Our next tip isn't something that you use with your students, but it will definitely make your teacher life better. This tip is to create a bonus planning time each week. We talked about that in episode 94, so let's give that a listen.
So I want to start by saying that this may not fly at your school, but I really hope it's something that you can make work if it seems like it would be useful for you. Okay, so I liked to use my planning time and my after-school work time on Fridays to prepare for the next week. I think a lot of teachers do that. But in order to do that, I needed to have actually planned the next week. So I claimed the half hour before lunch on Fridays as my unofficial next week planning time. In our daily schedule, that was normally the time we would do a phonics lesson, so I used that time on Fridays for a phonics review. And please note that when I say review, I am actually spelling it VIDEO. So each week, I picked an episode of the PBS series Between the Lions for my class to watch while I worked on planning. And you know what? It was epic. It worked so well. I could be a lot more intentional with my work time on Friday because I knew what needed to get done for the next week. And the kids enjoyed the video so much they didn't realize they were learning.
Between the Lions is such a good series, especially the first couple seasons. So it wasn't like you were putting on an episode of Arthur, which is entertaining but not particularly educational.
Plus, I have to admit it felt like a bit of a win. After so many years of being at the mercy of the education machine, it was nice that for at least 30 minutes a week, I was actually making that system work in my favor instead of mowing me under like it usually did.
If there's a spot in your schedule where you can add in a little video review, take advantage of adding an extra planning time to your week. But only if you won't get in trouble. Don't get mad at us.
This is one of my favorite examples of working smarter, not harder. We all know teachers are not paid for all of the extra time they work, so absolutely do not feel guilty about doing work tasks on work time. Just because you're not in front of the class doesn't mean your students aren't learning.
Now, is this the sort of thing you want to advertise? Probably not. I didn't write on my schedule that we were doing a video each Friday from 11:15 to 11:45, but calling it a review time was totally fine, and we were reviewing just with the help of a video.
Our next tip has to do with your attention signal. I don't think any teacher should teach a day without an attention signal, and I definitely couldn't do it.
But what happens when that attention signal doesn't work? Let's check out this tip from episode 98.
So no matter how well thought out your attention signal is, there will be times where it just doesn't work. My first response to this moment was to panic, and maybe you're the same. But really, a failed attention signal is just part of a teacher life. So instead of panicking, we are going to make our backup plan ahead of time. And then in those moments when your attention signal fails to get their attention, you will know exactly what to do. So the first step in our plan is to stay calm. Then, obviously, we don't want to repeat ourselves unless we are absolutely certain that the problem is that the students didn't hear the signal that you just gave. But if you know that the problem is bigger than them not hearing you, you need to respond in one of three ways. Either you need to make a game of it, you need to take something away, or you need to shake them up. If the students are really invested in what they're doing and they've just tuned you out, you can turn it into a game. You give your attention signal, nothing happens, so you start clapping a pattern, or you get really quiet and start giving them directions. This is one of my favorites. If you can hear me, touch your nose.
Yep.
If you can hear me, wiggle your fingers. And keep going until they're all paying attention. But if the problem is that your students are too busy talking to pay attention, maybe they need to lose something. You can pull out your phone and start timing them on your phone and hold up your phone so they can see those minutes ticking by. You could go look up at the clock and time how long it takes them to get quiet and take that time away from something fun in the near future. Or maybe the consequence is turning in their quiet critters or losing the privilege of working with partners for a while. Once students realize that they're going to lose something, they will pay attention very quickly. But if your class is really out of control, you need to shake them up. Turning out the lights is a classic. I do remember that from when I was in school. But as a teacher, I found that kids just get crazier when you surprise them with the lights going out.
Oh, yeah. You can hear those screams right now, can't you?
And also, flickering lights on and off can trigger kids with sensory issues. So I would avoid that. But you can shake them up in other ways. Maybe you start talking in another language or just start talking in gibberish if you don't know another language. That will shake them up real quick. You can maybe go to the front of the room and just stare at the ceiling. Do something unusual to get their attention that isn't you demanding their attention in a way that is creating more headaches.
So the key here is to make a plan now. What's your backup plan when your attention signal fails? Then you know exactly how to respond in a way that doesn't create more headaches.
No matter how well you set things up at the start of the year, you know there will come a time when even your best system fails. I wish someone had told me that as a young teacher because I spent a lot of years thinking that I was the problem and not that it was an expected outcome when working with small, unpredictable humans. It's just going to happen.
So making a plan now of what to do when your attention signal fails can help you stay calm when the inevitable moment arrives.
And you can extend that planning out to your other systems. What will you do when your students are out of control in the hallway? What will you do when it seems like everyone forgot to hang up their backpacks this morning? We know it's bound to happen, so we may as well prepare for it now.
And that brings us to our final revisited tip. This might be our most unusual teacher-approved tip, but it's one we stand by, so let's check it out.
Turn students' desks backwards.
This is something that we feel strongly about, to say the least. When we taught second grade, we kept our students' desks turned backwards so that they couldn't store anything inside of them. It's just another way to prevent problems before they can happen. On top of their desk, each student had a pencil box with crayons, pencils, and glue. They were supposed to keep it at the top of their desks, so we really didn't have any problem with kids playing around with them. If they ever became an issue, they could easily be moved to the floor or to a counter. And then for any folders or workbooks that kids might need, we kept those in plastic drawers.
I even experimented with like milk crates at each table for storage, but I ended up going back to the drawer system because it was so easy to manage. Each table had a stack of Sterilite plastic drawers. The individual drawer came to the table when needed, and then everything was packed inside and it was all put away. If we had to rearrange desks so the kids weren't in tables anymore, I still assigned kids a table number. So it would be something like, all the kids in this row are table 1, that sort of thing. And because by then the kids were so used to the drawer system, they really adapted without any issues.
And another added benefit of doing this is you never have to take time out of your busy days to have your students clean out your desk when they've just gotten to be unmanageable. You know how that goes. You don't have to worry about that at all if your kids don't store anything inside of them. So it's a win-win-win here.
And nothing is getting lost in there. You're not having any mystery items. It's perfect. So we highly recommend that you turn your desks around. It is an easy way to prevent a lot of headaches. If you have never tried this, it may sound crazy, but honestly, it is one of the easiest ways to simplify your classroom management.
Oh, 100%. If I were teaching tomorrow, I'd be flipping those student desks around so fast, they'd get whiplash. The desks would get whiplash, not the students. I will not be harming any students.
No, we are opposed to giving students whiplash. Let the record show.
Yes.
But desks are fair game.
So let's give you those 5 favorite teacher-approved tips again. Clean up your room quickly with the secret scrap game. Make a basket with quick activities you can use to bookend transitions. Give yourself a bonus prep time. Make a plan now for when your attention signal fails, and turn students' desk around to minimize headaches.
Whether this is the first episode you've listened to or this is your 200th time joining us, we are so grateful to have you here.
And while we're celebrating 200 episodes, we want to make sure to celebrate you too.
Our celebration wouldn't be complete without a little something for you, our lovely listeners. And our favorite way to celebrate anything is with presents, specifically presents for you.
So come join us on Instagram at Second Story Window, and that is with a 2, and we'll link to it in the show notes because we will be giving away some of our favorite past extra credit items in a fun little giveaway on Instagram that's easy to enter. So come join us over there.
That is it for our 200th episode. We hope you've enjoyed this quick trip through some of our favorite tips. If you haven't already rated and reviewed us, please consider doing that now. It would be a lovely 200th episode gift.
Oh, that would just make our day. And don't forget to enter the contest on Instagram at Second Story Window.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Teacher Approved. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Emily. Thank you for listening. Be sure to follow or subscribe in your podcast app so that you never miss an episode.
You can connect with us and other teachers in the Teacher Approved Facebook group. We'll see you here next week. Bye for now.
Bye. So did you grab your free ticket to Teacher Summer Talks yet? It's free, it's audio, and it'll help you start the year strong without sacrificing your summer. Get your ticket at secondstorywindow.net/summit.